Episode 11 of moving from Unity to Godot. I'm gonna have singing intros from now on. You just gotta deal with it. Alright, it's actually the same day as the day I was making the episode 10. It's just really late. I got a bit mad before the ending of the episode 10, but I'm back and I want to fix this so tomorrow I don't have to think about it. It's kind of a win-lose situation, really. So what I actually gotta do is, the way I originally did it in Unity, because it was simple in Unity, well, it wasn't simple, but it was easy, is that inside my animation tree, which is the animator, I would have a empty state, which I'm not even sure I can make. That then would check what the current state index was, and the state index was really like 0 was unarmed, 1 was for holding, 2 would be for pistol, 3 would be for shotgun, so on, so on. That I can set in script. And then I would just go back to that state, check for it, and do the rest. And then, using animation events, I would do the shit that I need to do. Now, how do you do that here? I've got no fucking clue. That's what we gotta find out. Now, I've googled this, and I haven't found anything. Like zero of anything. So, seems like we're in unknown man territory. And this is gonna take a while. So, that's it. Wish me luck. I'll be back when I figure something out. Alright, so it's been about a half an hour and I've got something that might work. So I found this transition node which can have a bunch of inputs, so I can add even more. So for example for the pistol and gun, which is great. So I just added the unarmed and the hold, and then it should output whatever is set here. But the only drawback to this is whenever I'm using a parameter here, for example, this is for the blend trees, I have to check if the current state index, which would be unarmed or hold, is equal to whatever it is. That's the only problem. The good thing is it works. I haven't tried if it works with the actual equipping, but that's what I'm going to try right now. Oh, that did something. Yeah, it changed it. It wasn't smooth, but it fucking changed it. Okay. I'm the fucking best. I am so good. I'm so good. Okay, so yeah, now we can equip an item. That I just want to see that one more time. That was gorgeous. What the fuck now? Oh. Alright, whilst we're here, we might as well just fix this. So, currently the problem is, I should probably have a function for this. I'll wrap it up, I'll make a wrapper for it later. But I need to check if there's an item in the hotbar slot. So, if, inventory dot item container, blah 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 blah. Okay, that's fixed. Let's see it one more time because it was majestic. Hell yeah. Okay, now I don't want to go any further because it's really late, but I want to fix the thing where it doesn't spawn the first try, and that's probably in my equipping controller. Oh, I think I know what it is. It was all fine, but I was just holding hide weapon here, which I don't want to do. So I think that's what the problem was. I am so good. It took me like 20 seconds for that one. Usually it takes me about an hour to figure some shit out like that. I just lost my word ability to speak. Wow, that was great. Okay. I'm a bit excited, if you couldn't notice, because this fucking works. Now I just gotta figure out a way to transition to it, and then I just gotta figure out a way to do animation events, which from what I've seen is pretty fucking hard. But that doesn't matter. Okay, I know it's late, but I might just like try and make it transition. Just give me a sec. No, I didn't. No, I didn't just fucking make that happen. Oh my god. Do you know how long that took me? Like 2 minutes. I am so good. I'm so goddamn good. Oh my god. How is anyone gonna watch this video and not be sad because they're not as good as me? I don't get it. It's impossible. I apologize in advance. The subscriber count goes way down now. Okay, I want to see if I can add some smoothing to that. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Maybe if I was using the state machine. You know what? I'm not even going to think about it. I'm happy with this. It works. I thought I was going to do this like tomorrow afternoon, but since I'm the best guy ever, I mean, it spawns immediately. That's why I need to figure out how to use animation events. But I'm the motherfucking best. Alright, I'm gonna go to sleep now. See you tomorrow. And my voice is probably gonna be a lot different in the morning. I realized that when editing the video tomorrow. Yesterday. I mean, the day before. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant. Bye now. Alright, it's the next day. And I know I said my voice might sound different, but I just drank the worst cup of coffee I've ever made. So I just feel disgusting. But that doesn't matter, really. What I want to do today is a couple of things. First off, so the animation that I made yesterday, where it transitions. Actually, let me check it out once again because it was so good. Bam. Alright. That's really cool. But currently it's really hard coded because I set the parameter to hold. But what if my weapon is a pistol and I don't want it to hold the pistol? I want to go to pistol animations. Well, that's why I have my weapon item. And here I can define a variable that will change that. It will be called state type, and it'll be of type string. So now on my weapon, I can define that this is hold. And whenever I need to set it, I can just say that the parameter is equal to new weapon dot state type. Let's see if that works. That does work. Also, another thing I realized, because I wanted to use animation events, because whenever I spawn a weapon I wanted to hide it and then using an animation event in a certain frame show it. But what I can actually do is just use code for that. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay, that did work somehow. I'm not even sure how, but there we go. Fuck yeah. So what I'm doing is whenever I hide a weapon, which happens whenever I spawn it, I set a boolean show weapon equal to true and current show timer to 0. And then in the process function or the update function, I check if show weapon is true. If it is, I increase the current show timer, with delta time, so each frame. And once it passes 0.75 seconds, I show weapon, and in the show weapon I set show weapon to false, and current show timer, I reset the current show timer. So that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Now I just want to make this into a variable that the weapon has. And it's gonna be called showtime. And now instead of saying 0.75, I can just say current weapon dot show time, just like that. And I set it to 0, so it should, yeah, now it happens immediately. But if I go here and set it to like 0.75 seconds, you can see that it works. Fuck yeah, man. And what this will actually allow me to do is use my action data that we have here, and whenever I show weapon right here, I would also say, or sorry, whenever I hide the weapon, I would say action data dot can use or is using action is equal to true. And whenever I finish using a weapon, or when I show the weapon finally, I can say is using action is equal to false. And now whenever I wanna handle weapon use, or that would actually happen in the UI controller here. I can say if we press the button and action data dot is using action is false. So now I won't be able to use a hotbar slot if I'm currently switching a weapon. Yeah, and if I click it while it's doing it, I can't do anything, but that's working. Now I want to start handling the unequipping of a weapon, which I before did with a custom function of unuse item. And all this is going to do, it's going to trigger the animator, or no, actually it should use the equipment controller dot handle weapon use. Yeah, and self. Actually, it's going to do the same thing, so I might be able to not use the unuse function, but use the use function. Let me check. Fuck yeah. And now it's working. Okay, I could look at this for about a day and not get bored. Alright, so basically what I'm doing is, don't mind, there's a lot of code, but don't look at like this part. Don't look at that. So basically whenever I use a weapon, I just call handle weapon use, and then in handle weapon use I check if current weapon is not equal to null. So if we have something equipped, and then I want to check if current weapon is equal to new weapon. So that means that we're trying to unequip the current weapon, which not really, but yeah. And then I set the action data is using action to true and change the current state index to 0 because we want to go back to default. I set it back to default state, which is a constant of unarmed. I triggered the hold end, triggered the hold end request. Let me just blurb this out. You don't guys need to see that. It's just confusing. And then I set the destroy weapon to true and current destroy timer to 0. Once again, that is a process. That's a if statement in the process. So if destroy weapon, I add delta time to it, and once it reaches a certain hide time, or this should actually be destroy time, but it's fine. It destroys the weapon, and destroy weapon sets the action data to false. So now we can use an action again. Again, we set the destroy weapon to false because we destroyed it, and reset the current weapon object and current weapon, or delete the current weapon object and reset it. Whew. Yeah, now I just gotta figure out all the other possible cases, because this currently will only work if the current weapon is equal to new weapon. But what if the current weapon is not equal to new weapon? That means we want to swap weapons. Now that's going to be fun. I just also realized that I shouldn't have done it this way. I probably should have used a timer. But again, it's an equipment controller, which is a singleton, and I don't know how I would get the timer. I could do it the same way like I did with this, but you can see that's a bit long. Yeah, amazing, cool, amazing, cool. Alright, but before I start getting into this, I actually want to handle the action data a bit more, because in the original game I had a little HUD element that will show you when you can use an action and when you can't. So I want to make that. So I added a little UI element that has a texture cross that I can enable and disable depending on how the action is going. So I just have to make the logic now. Alright, so what I did is in the UI controller I got the references, and in the action data I made 2 new functions and 2 new signals. And in the UI I can just subscribe to these signals, and whenever I start using action I emit the start using action signal, and whenever I end I emit the end using action signal. And that is connected to these 2 functions in the UI to show action cross and hide action cross. I don't know how to call it, so that's it. Now that I'm connecting to it, I should be able to see it in game. Yeah. So let me just change that real quick. Alright, so I added a little outline, or I tried adding a little outline, but it's not looking too good. I mean, it still looks better. I just don't like how it looks. Let's see now. Oh yeah, I like it. It's cool. Alright, now we can handle the rest. But before we do that, I have to make some other weapons so I can test this out. And that's gonna take a while. Okay, please work now. Yes, okay. So let's try out the... yeah. Ooh, that's not too good. Doesn't matter. Let's try out the bayonet. Hell yeah. They still need some adjusting, but it works. Hammer, big hammer. For smashing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's try out the small hammer. I just want to try them out for some reason. It feels good that they work. Small hammer, also for smashing. Okay, I also have to I want to fix this bug because when you drag it back into itself, it doesn't work. Yeah. Cool. Oh. Okay. So we gotta fix that as well. I want to fix those little things because I'm pretty happy with what I have now, and I feel like I can fix them. Ooh, no. Okay. Look at that small knife. That's actually an average knife, if you didn't know. Cool. Let me fix the inventory slot first. Yeah, actually we call swap. I want to actually check if data equal to my own slot index. If data is equal to slot index, then I just want to do nothing. Probably return and also reset the texture. Well, I can just call enable slot UI. Or actually it might be better if I just do it texture. Wait, when I start dragging, I set the item. Do I change the item? I don't. Okay, cool. So I can just say texture. I can just say this basically. Or I can actually call enable. Yeah, I'll just call it enable slot UI with true. And return. And I also want to call the start hover timer. Let's see if that works. So if I drag it onto itself, it works. Cool. Another thing is the hover over stays if you close the inventory. So I just gotta fix that in the function, in the UI controller. If I'm toggling inventory, I want to make another check to see if inventory panel dot visible is equal to false after the change, is equal to false. And then I can just say that hide. I actually don't have a reference to any of the hover info thingies. Okay, yeah, so I just got the references in the ready function, and then whenever I toggle the inventory to false, then I just hide the hover panel and the right click panel. Hopefully it gets those references and it works now. Cool, it didn't throw an error. Let me just check. Yeah, amazing. I actually didn't try the hatchet. How does that look? Ah, amazing. Okay. It's not perfect in the arms, but it's pretty good. Now I should probably handle the weapon switching, because currently I just want to see what happens if I try to switch a weapon. So if I have this weapon equipped and I try to do 2, well, nothing happened. It didn't throw an error, that's good. Okay, that's better than I thought. Alright, let's get to swapping weapons. I'm gonna cry in this section, probably. Holy shit, that's working. I'm literally 5 minutes into this, and it's fucking working. I was expecting this to take like 2 hours. Okay, yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that since I know what the problem is. Now, in order to fix this, well, I'm not 100% sure this is the problem, but for example, the way it's set up now, if let's take a hammer and let's take some salmon. Since in action data I'm storing the current selected slot and then setting it back to -1 when it's used. If I have a weapon equipped and I use the consumable, current selected slot is now 31, which is the consumable slot, but I still need it to be the hammer, if that makes sense. So I would like to define a sort of action type that would either be, you know, just instantly use an item or have it hold that data for a while. I don't know how I'm gonna name them yet. I'm trying to think of it. Actually, I can probably create that in a inventory item, because this is something every item should have. So I would have a enum action type. Then it can be none, which some items can be used. For example, the utility items I had in the original game, which were like crafting items, you can't use them, so action type would be none. I could have instant, or what's the opposite of instant? Long term, maybe? Eventual, future, gradual, late. I'll call it eventual. Maybe, or future. Eventual, I'll call it eventual. I don't know if it makes sense. I know what it means, that's the most important thing. There's no other people working on this. So now, we would have a export variable of action type on every item that's of action type. And now on every item I can set that. And for my weapons, and I can't see it. Maybe if I reset everything, restart the engine. Oh yeah, okay, so resetting the engine did it. So for all the consumables, the action type would be instant. And for all the weapons, it will be eventual. Also, I think it will be time to clean this up, because it's all messy. It's just messy. Alright, so I made a nice little wrapper function for the handle hotbar input. I don't know if it's called a wrapper, I just like saying wrapper. Which does everything this thing does, it just looks nicer. So we should be able to say this. So this is 30 and UI hotbar 1. We can say handle hotbar input, and then we need to give it UI hotbar 1 and the index of 30. That is so much nicer. And I can delete all of this junk and just say this. Hell yeah. Actually, this is all working fine. I thought that was the problem, but that's actually great, because it said it every time I click it. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, that works for some reason. That was not the problem, something else is. I just spent 40 minutes on this, by the way. But I got some functionality in whenever we select the slots at the last selected slot, current slot, blah, 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 blah. So we have that information at least. I don't know if you're using it or not, but it's okay. Right, so I found where the problem is. I just gotta figure out why the fuck it's happening now. It's been an hour as well. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, I finally solved it. It was actually quite simple. So whenever I was spawning a weapon, I was setting this to weapon holder.getChild. I just need to set it to the weapon node. which is an instance of the prefab that I create, and now it just works. So let's take the hatchet and the flashlight. As you can see, if I select the hatchet, then I swap to a flashlight, I can just unequip it. And now I can just swap infinitely between them. That works. Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now what I want to do, because I'm pretty happy with what I did today, I just want to fix a couple of bugs that I saw. That's that you can run while standing still, which obviously we don't want, and you can move while inside an inventory. Thankfully those both are very easy to fix. So now if you stand still and press shift, nothing happens, and if you get in the inventory you can still move, because I forgot something, my bad. Okay, so now we can move whilst we're inside the inventory, and while we're not, we can. Amazing. Okay, what else was I fixing? Oh yeah, the running. Yeah, we can't run if we're standing still. Cool, really happy with this, really happy. Yeah, actually I'm super happy with this, what I've done, and I think that will be enough for this episode. I just want to see it one more time because it's so fucking cool. Let's take a hammer and a hatchet. I still have to figure out how to smooth out the animations because this won't fly. But I'll think about that in the next episode. Currently, we can equip weapons. Amazing! Okay, yeah. Until the next update, I guess. Bye now.